The massive Imperial Dreadnought * Sovereign's Wrath * moved slowly through the darkness of space like a sleeping giant. Its metal hull gleamed under the light of a yellow star. Inside the ship, thousands of lights blinked on control panels as the vessel's powerful sensors scanned the third planet orbiting the star. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge, his tall frame covered in dark green scales that caught the blue light from the displays around him. His yellow eyes moved across the screens showing him everything about this new world. He had done this same thing 300 times before. Find a planet with life. Study it. Conquer it. Add it to the Empire. What do we have, Officer Krall? Vextar asked, his voice deep and commanding. The tactical officer, a smaller alien with 4 arms, worked quickly at his station. Life signs everywhere, Admiral. The planet is full of creatures. The smart ones walk on 2 legs and use tools. They call themselves humans, and they call their world Earth. Vextar nodded slowly. Technology level? Very low, sir. They still use chemical rockets to leave their planet. Their weapons shoot metal bullets using explosive powder. Some have nuclear bombs, but nothing that could threaten us. Perfect. Vextar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Another easy conquest. Prepare the standard greeting. Far below on Earth, Commander Hyunsoo Kim stood in the control room of the United Earth Defense Station. The station floated high above the planet, hidden among what looked like old broken satellites. Through the large window, he could see the alien ships getting bigger as they came closer. Kim was 50 years old with gray hair and lines around his eyes from years of military service. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth, but he had never seen anything like this. The alien ship was huge, bigger than any building he had ever seen. Sir, Lieutenant So-young Park called from her communication station. She was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and nervous hands that shook as she worked. They're sending us a message on all radio frequencies. It sounds like they want us to surrender. Kim walked over to her station and put a gentle hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, Lieutenant. We knew this day might come. Open a channel and let me talk to them. Park pressed several buttons, and the room filled with the sound of alien voices speaking in a language no human had ever heard. Then the translation computer began working, turning the strange sounds into words they could understand. People of Earth, the alien voice said, I am Admiral Vextar of the Galactic Empire. Your world is now part of our domain. You will surrender immediately. Any resistance will result in the destruction of your cities. Kim took a deep breath and stepped in front of the communication screen. This is Commander Kim of Earth Defense. Admiral Vextar, welcome to our solar system. We appreciate you taking the time to visit us. A holographic image appeared in front of Kim, showing the alien admiral. Vextar was tall and looked like a giant lizard walking on 2 legs. His scaled skin was dark green, and his yellow eyes seemed to glow. When he spoke, Kim could see rows of sharp teeth. Human Commander, Vextar said, his voice filled with the confidence of someone who had never lost a battle, you will surrender your world to the Galactic Empire. We offer you protection and guidance. In return, your people will serve the Empire. Kim remained calm, even though every person on the defense station was staring at him. He had practiced for this moment many times, but seeing a real alien was still shocking. Admiral Vextar, that's very generous of you, Kim said politely. But we must respectfully decline your offer. Earth is our home, and we prefer to govern ourselves. Perhaps it would be best if you left our solar system peacefully. The alien's eyes grew wide with surprise. His head tilted to one side like a confused animal. For several seconds, he said nothing at all. On the Imperial ship, other alien officers looked at each other in shock. Officer Krall's 4 arms stopped moving over his controls. Admiral, he whispered, did the human just refuse our offer? Vextar stared at the communication screen where Kim stood waiting calmly for an answer. In 300 conquered worlds, this had never happened before. Every species had either surrendered immediately or tried to run away in terror. No one had ever politely said no. Impossible, Vextar muttered. They are primitives. They should be begging for mercy. Back on the defense station, Lieutenant Park looked at Commander Kim with worry in her eyes. Sir, what do we do now? Kim kept watching the alien admiral, noting how confused he looked. We wait, Lieutenant. And we stay polite. Finally, Vextar spoke again. Commander Kim, perhaps you do not understand. The Galactic Empire controls 14,000 star systems. We have conquered species far more advanced than yours. Your entire planet could not defeat a single one of our patrol ships. Kim nodded respectfully. I'm sure that's true, Admiral. Your technology is clearly superior to ours. But this is still our home. We've prepared for visitors like you for a long time. Prepared? Vextar laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. What could primitives possibly do against the might of the Empire? Hopefully nothing, Admiral, Kim replied. We really would prefer if you just left peacefully. This doesn't have to end badly for anyone. The communication ended abruptly as Vextar cut the connection. On the Imperial Bridge, the Admiral turned to his weapons officer. These humans are either very brave or very stupid, he said. Either way, they need to learn respect. Admiral Vextar stood frozen in front of the communication screen, staring at the empty space where the human commander had been moments before. In all his years of conquest, no species had ever spoken to him like that. The human's calm voice and steady eyes bothered him more than screaming or begging ever could. Admiral, Officer Krall said quietly, should we try to contact them again? Vextar's scaled hands formed fists at his sides. No. They had their chance to surrender peacefully. He turned to face his bridge crew, all of whom were watching him with curious expressions. In my 300 campaigns, I have seen every kind of reaction to Imperial power. Fear, anger, desperation, bargaining. But never this. Never what, Admiral? Asked his weapons officer, a large alien with grey skin and 6 eyes. Amusement, Vextar replied. That human commander was almost smiling. As if he knew something we don't. Far below on Earth's surface, deep underground in a military bunker carved from solid rock, Major Jiwoo Lee sat at a bank of monitors showing data from sensors all around the planet. She was 35 years old with short black hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Her fingers moved quickly across her keyboard as she tracked the alien ships above. General, she called to the older man sitting at a desk covered with papers and maps. The alien fleet is changing formation. They're spreading out into bombardment positions. General Won-Shik Choi looked up from his tactical reports. He was 60 years old with completely gray hair and the calm expression of someone who had seen many battles. How long until they're in position? 10 minutes, sir. Good. That gives us time. He picked up a red telephone that connected him to defense stations all around the world. All stations, this is General Choi. Activate Protocol 7 immediately. The guests have decided to be rude. Back on the space station, Commander Kim watched through the large windows as the alien ships moved into new positions around Earth. Lieutenant Park stood beside him, her hands shaking as she read the sensor data. Sir, they're definitely preparing to attack. Energy readings are increasing on all their ships. Kim nodded slowly. Open the channel again, Lieutenant. Let me try one more time. The holographic image of Admiral Vextar appeared again, but this time the alien looked angry. His yellow eyes glowed brighter, and his sharp teeth were visible when he spoke. Commander Kim, Vextar said, his deep voice filled with the authority of someone used to being obeyed. Perhaps you do not understand the situation. The Galactic Empire controls 14,000 star systems. We have conquered species that could destroy your entire civilization with a single weapon. Your whole planet has less military power than one of our small patrol ships. Kim listened carefully, then nodded with respect. I believe you, Admiral. Your ships are amazing, and your technology is far beyond ours. Then you will surrender? No, sir. This is our home. Kim's voice remained steady and calm. We've been preparing for visitors like you for a very long time. Vextar's laugh sounded like metal scraping against stone. Preparing? Your most advanced weapons are simple chemical explosives. Your fastest ships can barely reach 1% of light speed. What could primitives like you possibly prepare that would concern the Galactic Empire? On Earth, Major Lee watched her screens as defense systems all around the planet came online. Things that had looked like broken satellites and space junk for decades suddenly began moving and unfolding. Ancient-looking platforms that nobody paid attention to started extending solar panels and weapons arrays. General, she reported, all orbital defense platforms are now active. Ground-based systems are ready. The lunar installations are powering up. General Choi stood up from his desk and walked to a large window that looked out over the command center below. Hundreds of people worked at computer stations, all of them preparing for what was about to happen. Major Lee, contact our friends around the world. Tell them the show is about to begin. Back on the space station, Kim looked directly into the camera, knowing the alien admiral was watching him carefully. Admiral Vextar, you're absolutely right about our technology. We don't have faster-than-light travel. Our weapons are simple compared to yours. But you're wrong about one thing. What? Technology isn't everything. Kim's expression grew sad, like someone who had seen too much war. Admiral, this is your last chance. Please leave our solar system peacefully. We don't want to hurt anyone. Vextar's eyes narrowed with anger and confusion. Hurt anyone? You're primitives. How could you possibly hurt us? The transmission ended as Kim cut the connection. On the Imperial flagship, Admiral Vextar turned to his weapons officer with fury in his yellow eyes. I have had enough of these arrogant primitives, he growled. They think they can threaten the Galactic Empire? Time to teach them respect. The weapons officer, nervous but obedient, moved to his control panel. Target selection, Admiral. Begin orbital bombardment immediately. Target their largest population centers first. Hit New York, London, Tokyo, and that place called Beijing. A few million dead humans should convince the survivors to surrender. Yes, Admiral. Around Earth, the Imperial ships began charging their plasma weapons. Energy readings spiked as the massive guns prepared to fire. In a few minutes, the aliens believed this would all be over. They had no idea what was about to happen. The Imperial plasma beams shot down from the alien ships like deadly lightning, aimed directly at Earth's biggest cities. Admiral Vextar watched his tactical screen, expecting to see explosions and destruction within seconds. Instead, he saw something impossible. The plasma beams simply stopped in midair, hitting invisible barriers that glowed bright blue when struck. Around Earth's orbit, things that had looked like old broken satellites and floating junk suddenly came to life. Metal panels unfolded like giant flowers blooming in space. Solar collectors extended outward. Weapon arrays that had been hidden for decades revealed themselves. What is this? Vextar shouted, his scaled hands gripping the edge of his command console. Where did those defense platforms come from? Officer Krell frantically worked at his station, his forearms moving across multiple keyboards at once. Admiral, our scanners show these objects have been here for years. We classified them as space debris. But they're not debris at all. They're weapons platforms disguised to look like junk. On the moon, far from Earth but close enough to help defend it, Lieutenant Colonel Minute Ho Yoon sat in the control center of Lunar Base. The base was built inside an old crater, hidden from anyone who might be watching from space. Yoon was 42 years old with steady hands and calm eyes that had seen combat in 3 different wars on Earth. All orbital defense grids are now active, he announced to his team. Energy shields are holding against their plasma weapons. Begin counterstrike protocol immediately. His aide, Captain Yijin Nam, was a young woman with quick fingers and a sharp mind for tactics. She monitored the battle from her station, watching as Earth's hidden weapons finally revealed themselves after waiting in silence for so many years. Sir, she reported, we're firing conventional missiles, but their ship shields are adapting. The same attack won't work twice. Yoon nodded. He had expected this. The aliens were smart and their technology was advanced. But humans had been preparing for this day for a long time. Then we stop using conventional weapons, he said calmly. Launch the Pandora packages. Nam's eyes widened slightly. She had heard about the Pandora packages but had never seen them used. Are you sure, sir? Launch them now. From hidden positions around Earth's orbit, new weapons emerged. They looked like normal nuclear missiles, the kind humans had been building for decades. But these were different. These had been modified with technology that most humans didn't even know existed. On the Imperial flagship, Admiral Vextar watched in confusion as the primitive human missiles approached his fleet. Their weapons move so slowly, he said with contempt. Our shields will stop them easily. But as the first missile reached the nearest Imperial ship, something strange happened. Instead of exploding against the energy shield, the missile seemed to pass right through it, as if the shield wasn't there at all. The explosion that followed was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. It wasn't just the nuclear blast that destroyed the ship. The missile had somehow tunneled through dimensions to bypass their shields completely. Impossible. Vextar roared, his yellow eyes wide with shock and fear. Their weapons are thousands of years behind ours. How can they penetrate our shields? His science officer, a thin alien with purple skin and large black eyes, was shaking as he read his instruments. Admiral, these are not normal nuclear weapons. They're using quantum tunneling technology to bypass our energy barriers. I don't understand how primitives could develop such advanced physics. Another Imperial ship exploded, then another. The human weapons were getting through defenses that had protected the Empire for centuries. All ships, evasive maneuvers. Vextar ordered. And launch ground troops immediately. If we can't destroy them from orbit, we'll take their planet by force. Down on Earth, in the city of Seoul, Colonel Boram Sung watched from her command post as alien drop pods began falling from the sky like deadly rain. She was 38 years old, short and strong, with scars on her hands from years of military service. She had fought in urban warfare before, but never against aliens. All units, this is Colonel Sung, she broadcast on the military radio to her soldiers positioned throughout the city. The aliens are landing. Remember your training. They are stronger than us and have better weapons, but they have never fought humans before. Use that advantage. The first Imperial soldiers to land were surprised by what they found. Instead of terrified civilians running in panic, they encountered organized resistance. Human soldiers who moved through the city streets like they owned them, setting traps and ambushes at every corner. The Imperial troops were tall, strong aliens with advanced armor and energy weapons. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and expected this to be easy. But as they moved through Seoul's narrow streets, they discovered something disturbing. Every building was a potential fort. Every alley was a trap. The humans didn't fight like other species the Empire had conquered. They didn't stand in open battle or try to match the aliens' superior firepower. Instead, they used the city itself as a weapon. Explosives hidden in abandoned cars destroyed entire alien squads. Snipers fired from windows, then disappeared into the maze of buildings before the aliens could respond. Human soldiers appeared from sewers and subway tunnels, attacked with brutal efficiency, then vanished again. What kind of species is this? One Imperial soldier radioed to his commander before his signal went dead. Colonel Sung watched the battle unfold from her screens, directing her troops with the skill of someone who had spent years learning how to fight in cities. They're used to easy victories, she told her officers. But we're not going to give them one. Admiral Vextar walked back and forth across his command bridge like a caged animal. The reports kept coming in, each one worse than the last. 17 Imperial ships destroyed. Thousands of his best soldiers dead or missing. This was not how conquests were supposed to go. His scaled hands shook with rage and confusion as he read the numbers on his tactical display. In 300 campaigns across the galaxy, he had never lost more than 2 ships in any single battle. Most species surrendered after seeing just one Imperial dreadnought. Now these primitive humans had destroyed almost a quarter of his fleet. Admiral, Officer Krall said quietly, approaching with another report in his 4 hands. We've lost contact with 3 more ground units in the city they call Seoul. And the humans have started attacking our ships with weapons we've never seen before. How? Vextar demanded, his yellow eyes burning with frustration. How do primitives fight like this? I don't know, sir. But perhaps we should capture one of them. Question it. Learn what we're really fighting. Vextar nodded slowly. Yes. Bring me a human prisoner. I need to understand what kind of species we're facing. It took 6 hours and the loss of another dropship, but finally the Imperial forces managed to capture a human soldier alive. Captain J. Minnick Ko had been leading a squad through the underground tunnels beneath Seoul when alien soldiers surrounded him. His men escaped, but Ko stayed behind to buy them time. Now he sat in the Imperial ship's interrogation room, a small metal chamber with bright lights that hurt human eyes. His hands were tied behind his back with energy bonds that glowed blue. But his face was calm, almost peaceful, as if he was sitting in a garden instead of a prison. Admiral Vextar entered the room and studied the human carefully. Ko was smaller than most Imperial soldiers, maybe 40 years old with black hair and intelligent dark eyes. He didn't look frightened or angry. He looked patient, like someone waiting for a bus. Human, Vextar began, his voice deep and commanding, you interest me. How does your primitive species resist the might of the Galactic Empire? Ko looked up at the tall alien and smiled slightly. We're not resisting, Admiral. We're just doing what comes naturally to us. Explain what you mean. Ko shifted in his chair to get more comfortable. Tell me, Admiral, how did your species develop space travel? Vextar's eyes narrowed with suspicion. Why do you ask? Please. Humor me. I'm curious about how other species grow and learn. We achieved peace on our homeworld first, Vextar said proudly. We united all our people under one government, ended all wars, then worked together to reach the stars. We conquered other worlds through superior technology and organized command structures. Ko nodded as if this made perfect sense to him. That's very impressive. Your people sound wise and civilized. And humans are different. Very different. Ko's smile grew sad. Humans have been at war with ourselves for 10,000 years, Admiral. We have never known true peace. We fight each other constantly. Vextar tilted his head, confused. Then how did you develop advanced technology? Because war makes us creative, Ko explained patiently. We've spent all those thousands of years learning how to kill our own species. Other humans who think exactly like us, who are just as smart as us, who know all our tricks and strategies. I don't understand why that matters. Ko leaned forward slightly. It means we've turned everything into a weapon, Admiral. Our primitive technology isn't really primitive. It's the result of thousands of years spent finding more efficient ways to kill things that are exactly as intelligent as we are. Vextar's scales rippled with unease. Something about the human's calm voice and steady eyes was deeply disturbing. You see, Ko continued, when you fight other species, you use superior technology to win. But when humans fight humans, technology isn't enough. We have to be smarter, more creative, more ruthless. We've been practicing warfare against ourselves for our entire history. So you're saying? I'm saying you're not fighting primitives, Admiral. You're fighting a species that treats war as an art form. Every human soldier has studied thousands of years of combat techniques developed by fighting other humans. Meanwhile, far below on Earth, Dr. Sujin worked in her laboratory, surrounded by pieces of captured Imperial technology. She was 50 years old with gray streaks in her black hair and glasses that reflected the blue light from her computer screens. Incredible, she murmured to her assistant as she examined an Imperial energy shield generator. Their technology is advanced, but it's also very standardized. They build everything the same way across their entire empire. Her assistant, a young man named Dr. Minitjun Park, looked up from his own workstation. Is that bad for them? Very bad. It means once we understand how one piece works, we understand how all their equipment works. She pointed to the shield generator with excitement. Look at this. Their energy shields use simple frequency modulation. We can not only figure out how to get through them, we can build better versions. Better? How? Dr. Un smiled. Because humans don't standardize everything like they do. We innovate. We improve. We make things better through competition and creativity. She turned back to her computer. Give me another week, and I'll have shield technology that's twice as effective as theirs. Back on the Imperial ship, Admiral Vextar stared at his human prisoner with growing horror. You're saying your entire species is designed for warfare? Not designed, Admiral. Shaped. 10,000 years of constant conflict has made us very, very good at fighting. Admiral Vextar stood in his command center, staring at the latest report with disbelief. His hands shook as he read the words over and over again, hoping they would somehow change. Sir, Officer Krall said quietly, the report is confirmed. The humans have captured 3 of our ships completely intact. And they're already flying them. That's impossible, Vextar whispered. It takes our engineers years to learn how to operate new technology. How can primitives master our ships in just days? That's not the worst part, Admiral. Krall's forearms moved nervously as he delivered more bad news. They're not just flying our ships. They're making them better. The alien admiral felt something he had never experienced before in 300 conquests, real fear. Through the view screen, he could see Earth in the distance, but now there were new lights moving around the planet. Human-built ships that used Imperial technology but flew in ways no Imperial ship ever could. On one of those new ships, Lieutenant General Donghyun Park stood on the bridge and smiled with satisfaction. The ship around him was beautiful, combining the best parts of human engineering with alien technology they had captured. It was faster than any Imperial ship, more maneuverable, and armed with weapons that no alien had ever seen before. Park was 55 years old with silver hair and the confident bearing of someone who had won many battles. He had spent his whole career preparing for a war that might never come. Now that it had come and gone, he felt proud of what humanity had accomplished. General, reported Commander Eugene Choi from her station, the alien fleet is changing formation. It looks like they're preparing to leave. Park nodded. He had expected this. The aliens had learned the hard way that humans were not easy prey. Let them go, Commander. But keep our long-range sensors on them. We need to see where they come from and what else might be out there. Choi was younger, maybe 35, with sharp eyes and quick hands. She had helped design some of the new hybrid ships, combining human creativity with alien technology in ways that surprised everyone. Should we follow them, sir? At a distance. We don't want to start another fight, but we need information. On the Imperial flagship, Admiral Vextar made the hardest decision of his long military career. He walked to his command console and activated the emergency beacon that would send an instant message across the galaxy to Imperial Command. His scaled fingers hesitated over the controls. Sending this message would end his career. No Imperial Admiral had ever retreated from primitives. But staying here would end his life and the lives of everyone under his command. He pressed the button. Priority alert to all Imperial forces, he dictated to the communication system. Earth system is now designated as Quarantine Zone Omega. The species there is classified as Apex Predator. Do not engage under any circumstances. I recommend immediate placement of warning beacons around their entire solar system. Officer Krall stared at his admiral in shock. Sir, are you sure? Command will want to know why you're retreating from a primitive world. Vextar's yellow eyes were filled with exhaustion and defeat. Because they're not primitive, Krall. They're the most dangerous species we've ever encountered. As the Imperial fleet began its retreat, Vextar sat down to write his final report about the humans. His hands moved slowly across the keyboard as he tried to find words that would make Imperial Command understand what had happened. The humans are not primitive, he wrote. They are the most dangerous species the galaxy has ever seen. They have spent their entire existence learning how to kill their own kind. This has made them incredibly skilled at warfare against any enemy. He paused, remembering the human prisoner's calm explanation of human nature. We lost 70% of our fleet, he continued typing. They destroyed our ships with weapons we couldn't understand. Worse, they captured some of our vessels intact and reverse-engineered our technology in just days. They are now building ships that are better than ours. Vextar looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere behind him, humans were already planning their next move. If they ever leave their system, he concluded his report, the galaxy will face a threat unlike anything in recorded history. They must be contained at all costs. Back on Earth, in the Great Assembly Hall of the United Nations, Minister Ha-Young Kim stood at the podium addressing representatives from every nation on the planet. She was 60 years old with white hair and a voice that commanded respect. My fellow humans, she began, we are no longer alone in the universe. We have made contact with an alien empire that spans thousands of worlds. They came here to conquer us. The assembly hall was completely silent as everyone listened. But we have proven something important today. Earth will remain free. We have shown that humanity cannot be conquered by anyone. Applause filled the hall, but Kim raised her hand for quiet. However, this is just the beginning. We now know there is a whole galaxy full of other species out there. Some may be friendly. Others may be hostile. It's time we learned what else exists beyond our world. Through the windows of the assembly hall, people could see the new human fleet preparing for launch. Ships that combined human engineering with alien technology, ready to explore the galaxy and meet whatever they might find out there. The humans were no longer hiding on their small blue planet. They were ready to introduce themselves to the galaxy. And the galaxy was not ready for them.